Peace, everyone. Very difficult to go after frequency. Can we give her one more round of applause? That is the pride of Africa and the pride of Louisiana all in one person, so I'm glad y'all got to hear some truth. My name is Colette. It's an honor to be here. I bring peace from the traditional land of the Choctaw Nation on the North Shore, and I offer my greetings and my peace to the Chittimacha, the Homa, and the Atakapa nations of this land, just in case y'all wanted to know whose land you were sitting on. I hope y'all knew that already. Ashe. It's really exciting to be here. I got a phone call from Netroots Nation saying, Colette, would you like to address the crowd as we close out? It's really important that they hear what's going on with Katrina 20. And so I want to thank the Netroots team for reaching out to local folks to let y'all know what's going on. But first, let me ask a question. How many of you are under the age of 20? Okay, there's a few hands. Yes, thank you for being here. We got a few issues for you to solve for us in the future. Thank you so much. How many of you remember Katrina? Yeah, it was a moment. It was a moment. It was a moment where many folks got into this work. Myself, I left corporate America and moved into organizing and moved into power building. It was a moment that folks shouldn't remember the way that it's told, right? They told you how we were victimized. You remember all the photos? Y'all remember those photos? Remember all of the stories of the looting and all of the bad things that were told about us? Well, it's time, 20 years later, to set the story straight. So let me just offer a few facts, just so you can walk out of here knowing exactly what you need to know. First of all, Hurricane Katrina was a very large hurricane. It actually hit Florida before it hit Louisiana. Anybody remember that? So it hit Florida, it went into the Gulf at a Category 5, it came on shore, and it hit the border of Mississippi and Louisiana. It turned just east of New Orleans and hit the border with a 30-foot tidal surge. A 30-foot tidal surge that wiped out the Mississippi coast, a lot of the Louisiana coast that was on the east side, and it was as wide as 144 miles. So when it came ashore, it was one of the largest hurricanes we had ever seen. And it was very powerful, and it pushed a lot of water. And after the water came on shore, the water went into the Lake Pontchartrain. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Lake Pontchartrain went into the lake, and that lake had several levee breaches across its waterways across the city of New Orleans, and it flooded the city of New Orleans, and the city of New Orleans was flooded for days. Y'all remember that? What I need you to understand is that that storm did not start in the Gulf. It started with the petrochemical industry in Louisiana. What we're seeing is extreme weather that is being accelerated by oil and gas production. It's being accelerated by American consumption. And that acceleration puts extreme weather into the region, into the Gulf, and onto the shores and the communities that we live in. Katrina did not just start 20 years ago. It started with the oil and gas industry taking over Louisiana, Texas, and even parts of Mississippi. And it's important that you understand these dots, because we can't tell the story of a storm and the people who were victimized. We have to tell the story of an industry that absolutely knew what was going to happen if it continued its work and went along anyway. So this is an opportunity for us, 20 years later, to say it's not just about a storm and a whole bunch of poor people who were victimized. It's about an industry that we have to hold accountable and a society that we have to shift and change. For Katrina and Katrina 20 commemoration, we're asking all of you to join us. We want you to join us, not because you feel sorry for us, not because you're sad, but we do need you to remember. So we're going to ask that you check out katrina20.org. This is where over 300 residents from 3 states across the region have gotten together to plan their own commemoration of this storm, to plan their own memory of this moment. We don't need other people telling our stories. In fact, it's time now that you listen to us tell you our stories. So check out katrina20.org, and you'll see over 95 community organized sessions across 3 states over 7 days. If you're here, we're welcoming you to join us. We want you to be a part of what the people have put together. If you're not here, we want you to go to katrina20.org, and you can do things like organize a bike ride. You can do things like organize some donation sessions, because the community here has for itself raised $1 million. It raised $1 million for itself. That's right. And now it's asking its allies to help it raise $4 million more. And that $4 million is going to go to the organizing that never really got seeded here after Katrina. Because let me tell you what happened. A lot of people came here after Katrina. A lot of people came here to study. A lot of people came here to research. A lot of people came here to have an experience. A lot of people came here to try. But many of those people weren't from here. And the investment of the people who are here never happened. And 20 years later, we're ready, and we need your support. We would love for you to stand with us. If you have social media or anything like that, what we're asking you to do is say, we remember. We want you to remember what happened here. We want you to remember that this was designed, that this was not an accident, that this was indeed a disaster, but this was preventable. We also want you to remember that this was a sacrifice. This is a sacrifice that should not go unanswered. We, our people here, suffered and died so that this nation could make a change, and we don't seem to be making that change. We need all of you who work on criminal justice, queer liberation, housing rights, voting rights. We need you to understand that climate is not another issue. It's the new context in which you are all doing your work. This is everybody's issue, and we've got to get on this one, and we got to get on it now. I want to honor some of the work and some of the people who are in this room. I believe Baba Malik is in here. Baba Malik Rahim. Peace to the brother. What you will never know is how bad things were here after that storm. What you will never know is what some of the local people did to save themselves and to save each other. What you will hear are stories of how we were criminals, how we stole, and how we didn't make the right decisions. But what you won't hear is that we were heroes, we were courageous, and we helped each other, and we're still here, and we survived. Malik Rahim is just one of the people we need to honor. I want to just say peace to the names of Sharon Hanshaw out of Mississippi, a black woman hairdresser who began organizing in her hair shop. She has gone to glory now, and you'll never know all of the work that she did to begin the STEPS Coalition in Mississippi, an organization that is still going today. And I want to thank you. And I want to lift up the name of Pam DeShiel, who is doing work in the lower Ninth Ward, a woman who has gone on to glory, and you'll never know all of the work she did for her community. And I want to lift up that these are two black women who gave their life to the struggle. And I want you to understand that these black women work. These black women work, they give, they work hard, and they're never honored, and they're never seen, and they never ask for anything. And so it's important that I tell you their names, and it's important that you understand there's 100 more of them across the coast. So when you join us to remember on August 29th, 20 years of Katrina, when you join us to say that you remember, we want you to use the hashtag #WeAreTheStorm, because that's what the community has said to this moment. The storm did not stop us. We are the storm. Nothing is going to push us back. We are the storm. We're not going to stop moving, and we're not going to stop going. We are the storm, and we invite you to join us to commemorate this anniversary. I'll close by saying, this is a great conversation at Netroots. I've been to some of the panels and the sessions here. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for the time that you're giving. But I want to push you a little bit to go just a little bit further. This is a moment to organize, y'all. This is a moment to organize. This is not a moment to self-reflect and to go into self and to go alone and isolate and to do all of that self-care that equals you separating yourself from community. That is a lie. What is needed now is collective action. The only way we win now is if we conjure the courage, and we have to conjure it collectively. This is a moment to organize, and we're starting here in the Gulf. We need you organizing where you are, and we need to meet up. You can meet up at Netroots, or we can meet in the street. But one thing you need to do is get your people. We're going to get ours, and we're going to get ours to commemorate on August 29th. We think this is a great opportunity for you to get yours. Let's join together, and let's make some change. Let's get what we know this country can be to where it needs to go. Thank you.